it came about because I acknowledge that a lot of work did take place within systems, but then there's not a lot of continual work when you come out. There's a lot of buildings, there's a lot of supported houses, and there's a lot of different programs, but it's not enough. It's not enough. There was women coming out to, I remember going to work once and seeing a girl on a bench and she was asleep, and I wanted to wake her up because I knew her in the prison, but I realised that when I wake her up, her nightmare starts. So the nightmare starts for some women when they're awake, not when they're asleep, when they're actually awake, because of their living conditions and their trauma that takes place internally. I recognise that, so treasure. So I wanted to create a loving home and not an institution, and this is what these houses are. Because what I found was that women actually struggled being in a loving home, but being in an institution, they didn't struggle with that. It was easy to go into a regulated institution and conform to that, but to normality, they struggled with that, and that's what I've seen through these houses. So I've got 3 houses. These houses, they don't belong to treasures, but they're loaned to us, and we pay rent. We pay a good rent on quite a cheap rent on each house. We have 2 workers that work. So there's 3 of us. Since the coronavirus, I'm stuck here. I'm in one of the houses now. So since the coronavirus, yeah, I'm here, and I'll stay here until some normality comes back in order for the safety of the houses and for the women. But so what I find is that when women that are coming from trauma, I myself is clean of heroin, crack, free from prostitution and theft. I've been free from that for 20 years. But yesterday I went into trauma. I could feel it. I wanted to vomit. I went into my trauma of sexual abuse, right? But the difference is I've got enough tools in me to still carry that, to still not fix, to get out of it, to ride with it, and still continue to do everything I know I need to do. That trauma doesn't isolate me, doesn't immobilize me today, because I've got the tools to still function. So what I was seeing, for treasures. So when women come here, there's no time limit. A lot of places have time limits, and that's what I think the system is so frustrating. How do you say to somebody, right, you've got funding for 3 months and then you're going to be okay? I'm sorry, that is just not realistic. You know, we have women that have been here for a year and they don't even acknowledge their trauma. It's known fact to everybody else that they're bulimic or anorexic, but it's not known fact to them, and it may take them over a year to admit that they're collecting their sick in bags and hiding it. But from once they start talking this stuff, that's for me, that's success, because it's so what's hidden in the dark has started to come out into the light, and we can work with stuff that's in the light, because we say that secrets keep you sick and they grow in the dark. I've had women in here, right, that have been frightened to take their clothes off and go to bed, so they go to bed with their clothes on, and that's because of their sexual abuser. Now because the houses are just 3-bedroom houses, right? So there's 3 women in each house. In the house that I'm in at the minute, we've got 2 women, and I occupy one of the bedrooms. So we'll have a staff that will occupy one of the bedrooms. Because the houses are so small and intimate, these things don't go unseen. In large institutions, and like when you come in from trauma, we learn how to cover it up. When it's in such a small environment in which I'm in these houses, you can try to cover it up, but it'll poke itself out. We'll see it. We will be able to see it. So what I'm trying to say is that that the healing takes time, and learning new lives. I mean, like, I didn't know how to live without being a faith. I did not know. My mother was a prostitute. My grandmother was a prostitute. My father was a punter. My sister's dads were punters. My father's, all these other women were prostitutes. So I did not know how to live normal. I was not taught. I was not trained as a child. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's like sometimes the expectations that can be placed on women can be really unrealistic, which will lead that woman, which sort of like for myself, if an because I'd be looking at other women, I'd be thinking, but I should know how to do that, but I don't know how to do it. Therefore, I start resenting myself. I start resenting the system, and I'm caught up in that mad circle of dark way of thinking, of resentments, of defects of character. I'm just wrapped up in that. So what's happening at the minute? We've got girls that have been here for a long time, right? And they're doing well. They're working through their stuff and that. So what happened? Feel so grateful for this. Some lady was speaking on a podcast and about we need more buildings, we need more houses. And this woman, she come forward and she said, I'll buy you a house. But then when I thought about it, it's not another house I need. We need flats, or we need bedsits. We need to move people on. And the thing about the housing, right, that social housing, when it comes to the supported housing, they want to move them into either another supported housing, which is probably rife with drugs, or into a place where the whole building's rife with drugs. And so it's like, so they're more or less saying, oh, you're in supported housing, you've got well now, so you're all right, so you can go back into that environment. It's ridiculous. But anyway, so this lady, she's actually bought, in the process of buying 4 flats at Barratt, brand new flats, and they're being built, right? And I'm so blessed for these women. So next year I'll be moving 4 of these ladies when these flats have been built, into these properties, and they're high standard, high quality, and you know what, these girls deserve that. And in Treasures, right, I look at having high standard, as high a standard as I can, high quality furniture and stuff, or whatever, the best of my ability is to be nice. Because I've looked in some places, and I think, how, you know, I mean, like, I've had one of my sons came out of prison, and he had to go in a supported housing, and there was no quilt, there was no running hot water, there was no curtains up at the window, and that's how that person is supposed to be all right. That doesn't happen here. Their basic needs are met, and we look at their emotional needs at the minute. So I founded Treasures, and I've really got a set of trustees, and we've got a fundraiser, and she's fundraising. She's all right, but now we've got another fundraiser on board that is fundraising just for the women, because a lot of charities get caught up in fundraising wages, and that can't happen now, because the people get forgotten. There's a lot of great named charities that are not for the people, but on paper it sounds like it is, and it's not. It's just not. If you go and have a look at some certain stuff, it ain't right. It's not right. So we've just got another fundraiser on, and to fundraise because these women have just got 2 women into specialist therapy, because they need specialist therapy. It's not just 12 sessions. They need 18 sessions, and for each woman at £50 a session for 18 months, that costs £3,500. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, and like, you go to the community, and they'll put them on long waiting lists. I mean, this corona thing, because the women can't go and fix on whatever they would fix on to subdue the trauma that's internal, is coming up. It's coming up. It is coming up so intense. But I'm grateful, and I'm able to access the therapy that's needed, and that the women are in a place to receive that therapy. We've got women in here that couldn't even lift up their head and look at you. Their face used to cover their hair used to cover their face. They're now working in charity shops. They're now opening and closing charity shops. They're now working on a till. We've got women that going to uni, not uni. One of them wants to go to university. She's just completed a degree in computer stuff. You know, we've got women in here with so many gifts and qualities, and the workers that work here are people that are in recovery themselves, and yeah, so treasures, because and why did I call it treasures? Because I really know and believe that within each and every woman that there's treasures, and the treasures have been hidden by life circumstances. But in a safe, loving environment, it's mad how love uncovers so much, and that's what we are achieving here. So I believe that within every woman that we've got treasures, we've got gifts that just need to be uncovered, and that the uncovering of that treasure and gift is time. It takes time. You can't put a time on it. You know, it takes time. You know, we have women in here that have been yeah, we've got one woman in here with her children, not seen them for 16 years. Now she's got the children back in their lives. You know, we've got the reconciliation of families, which is beautiful. We've got quite a few that hated their mother, would never speak to their mother again, that are now so happy that they can say mom. And well, one of the ladies showed me that it was her birthday yesterday. She got 2 cards from her mum, and and don't get me wrong, she's still working through stuff around her mum, but she can accept them 2 cards from her mum with like a little child excitement, you know. So the repairing of we've got a lot of we've got a few women that are here, sexual abuse from fathers, relationships with fathers, you know, here, that we work with. So yeah, and we've got well, I can't show that. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see the artwork? I don't know if you can see that. We've got one girl like that artwork of one of the ladies doing art. We've got girls that I'm going to tell you how to look. We've got girls doing fix the gardens. So I don't know if you can see. These are the houses. It's like, so the girls do the gardening and stuff, and yeah. So I just thought I'd just show you so you get a little better picture of how we could. So there are 3 houses joined together, but we moved through the back of the house. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know really. How long have I got to speak?
As long as you need.
Yeah. So I mean, there's nothing more rewarding to me than seeing the lights come on in a woman's eyes, to see that glimmer of hope, and the women do go to fellowship meetings, different. I've got a woman on a day program now. She's doing it virtual because she can't get to the program, so she's doing a virtual day program. So that's going on now. With this, at the minute, one of the ladies in this house, she's on an ABA, anorexic bulimia group. So they're all doing something, and that's another thing. It's like when they're, not all of them, but some of them, when they come, they're afraid to come out of the room, you know. So we have a morning meeting every morning. Every morning we've changed it till 9 o'clock. It's normally at 8 o'clock, but because of the corona thing, we changed it till 9. We've moved it forward an hour, and we do a meeting every morning. We have discussions, see where everybody's at, and stuff in the mornings. So that's compulsory. So they've got to come out of their room. We have women that don't know how to keep their room clean, don't know how to wash and stuff like that. So you know, but now we've got girls that wash. We had one girl, she's still here. She can get in the bath now while people are in the house. Before, she had to wait till the house was empty before she would even go in the bathroom. But now she can go in the bath while people are in. So that's how we measure success. So now she can go in the bath while people are in the houses, you know. And we've got 1 minute, a girl at the minute, she's struggling with cleaning, but she'll get there. She'll get there. The girls have bought bikes as well, so they go out on bike rides, yeah, it's just nice to see childhoods that have been lost that can be lived again as an adult. You know, like just like riding a bike and feeling happy about riding the bike. And we've gone abroad as well. We've taken girls over to. I go to Cape Town every year. Going to prison, going to townships, and rehabs out there. And we've been able to take women from here over to Cape Town so they can have a look at that side of things. Because when you go over to them places, it really makes you feel grateful for what you do have in England. We've taken women to NA conventions abroad in Spain, and these are one never ever travelled, never, not even had a passport, you know, things like that. We also we've got our fundraiser that is fundraising just for the women. We'll be able to send them on when I say special, what I mean is certain topic set retreats. It could be whatever, like eating disorder retreats. We'll be able to pay because so unfortunately it costs money to do stuff like that. But there is money out there that for women, and because I believe, because of my heart is in the right place, that I want the money for these women. You know, that it's not having treasures is not it's the women in treasures that are important, not me. Opening treasures is important, not me. Setting up a charity, not me. All that is good, but the most important is these women. These women are my primary purpose for doing what I do. It's not looking at what I've done. You know, it's looking at how these women can be impacted to transform and to become strong members of society, because I believe that that we're strong. I believe that we're strong and that we're really powerful, and I believe that for each and every woman, the thief or the prostitute on the street, I believe that. I really believe that once in the right environment, that change is possible. Yeah, am I meant to talk for longer? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, so another thing as well, yeah, because like, oh gosh, I remember when I was working in Holloway, right? There was women in there that if I'd have looked on the system, my logic head wouldn't have taken them. But because I didn't look at, and I don't get me wrong, it's not good to go with your gut feeling all the time. That one of the girls working there is what was one of them that if you look on the prison system, it's like, no way. But she now works here. She's now clean off drugs for 5 years. She's got her own flat. She's back in contact with her kids. She looks after her grandchild. Do you know what I mean? You know, we've got a lady that came through here where different boroughs didn't want her, and that's sad. You know, this borough's supposed to take her, they won't take her. This borough, so we ended up taking, and it's housing benefit pay the rent here for the women. So that's another thing. For each woman, we get a set amount of money. I think it's 180 or 180 something a week per woman in each house. So we ended up taking a strong character, but she's totally transformed. She's still a strong character, but she's learning how to curb her behaviours and her opinions. And she's how many children? She had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children. She's got the 5 children back in her life, not living with her, but they're back in her life. You know. So what I'm saying is that some people have been written off. I'm sorry to say, I was one of them. I was one of them that was written off. I was in and out, in and out, in and out. I was in and out of prison for 20 years. Every year I passed through Holloway, every single year. I was in, out, and I was written off. You know, but I'm not written off. You know, I'm not written off. I'm not my mother. My mother died an addict. I'm not my mother. You know, but when you feel written off, you know, you feel, yeah, you just feel like scum, that you don't deserve anything, and you just always wonder, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? And to be fair, what my heart is, I'd like to get a house one day for the women that are really struggling, in the sense, the ones that have been written off, to be fair, the ones that are out there ducking and diving, still using. I'd like to get my hands on them and work with them, to be fair, because even though you're out there ducking and diving, a lot of them don't want to be out there ducking and diving. It's just having that place where somebody's got faith in them, where they haven't got faith or belief for themselves, that for somebody to stand in the gap and believe for them. That's what I believe. What it is, you've got the system, you've got different kind of prisoners. You've got people that go in and have a one-off sentence, but then you've got them ones that are caught up in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. I mean, you know, these houses are over in Newham. I live in Islington. Whenever I'm in Islington, I'm always seeing girls from Holloway, and it just breaks my heart. It just absolutely breaks my heart that they're just stuck. They're just stuck, and you know, they're just stuck out there on the streets in that mad, dark place. Yeah. So, yeah. So I don't know what else to share. But yeah, it's been a long road for me. Like I said, I went into trauma yesterday, and I'm in trauma, but it's not as strong as it was. The trauma took me to a place where I physically wanted to vomit. I felt, but it didn't stop me from moving on. And that stuff that came up yesterday, it was stuff that I used to stick a needle in my arm to try and make it better. That was the same stuff that I used to stick needles in my arm. But today I don't have to do that, because I've got a great support network that I can reach out to. Yeah. If anybody can let me know any questions of anything else that they'd like to hear, I'm not sure.
Yes, Mandy, we have a few questions. And first of all, a big thank you for being here with us and for your testimony. Could you say something more about what kind of care and patience that is needed to support women on these very long journeys, I imagine, to recovery and being self-sufficient?
Yeah, it's very challenging. It's extremely challenging because I'm human and I'm coming from street, the same place as they, and they push the buttons, push the buttons, push the buttons, and what I've learned, what I personally have learned, is to try and hear the voice behind the voice, is to try and see the voice behind the voice. Because a woman's not having a tantrum and getting angry. There's something behind it, and I've learned as well not to take it personal. However they, you know, because I've had this morning already. I've had one coming here, and she's struggling with me. I think I trigger off stuff around her mum or her dad. There's something. I'm working with it. So when I sense that there's something, I will talk to people. I'll go to people and talk about what it's bringing up in me. I look at what is it bringing. Every day I do an inventory, every day, or I do an on-spot inventory. So if somebody's talking to me, I'm able to recognize what comes up in me, and it could be my pride, my arrogance, my self-righteous, my anger, but I'm able to spot check it. Or in the evening, I'll reflect back and say, when she said that, what did it do? It brought something up in me, and then I'll do my own personal recovery around that. But what I do know that any behaviour, there's pain. It's always pain. It's always pain that's behind certain reactions. And when they look at it, when they start to do the work around it, they'll see. A lot of the girls in it have got sponsors. They all got sponsors. All but one girl's got sponsors. So they're going through the 12-step program. You know, which we do advocate, but we do say to women that if you don't want that, then show me a program that's going to work for you. It's not like, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing nothing. You show me something, show me the program. You know, it does take, you know, I've been, yeah, and the more work I do on myself, is the more work that I'm able to work with the women. You know, it always comes back to me. And don't get me wrong, we've got like rules in the house, you know, that, you know, like aggressive behaviour and stuff like that. We've got rules that we do testing, drug testing as well. So if and it all depends. There's no ground rule like on the rules of like use you out. But what we do use you put on a contract. If you use, you'll be put on a contract to leave. All right. But what I do, I put them on a contract, and if they adhere within that 28 days to everything that is on that contract, they can turn it around. But then there might be somebody that's using, and they'll be asked to leave. So there's no, it's not, yeah, there's no, and that's what we're able to do here. But it's challenging, but that is, but I love a challenge. I do love a challenge. I've got to say, I'm challenging as well.
To follow up on that, this contract is obviously one of the tools in your toolbox that you're using to help these women, but you also talked about that you in the beginning didn't have the tools to basically to face the world, and how does these tools or toolkits get developed? Are they developed individually for each person, or are there things that can be applicable for everyone, or how can someone help another person to develop their own tools?
Right, so all the women are on a program, right? But just because they're on a program doesn't mean to say they're going to get it. All it is for me is willingness, right? So the girls will be unwilling, but they'll do it anyway, right? But then after a while, they'll continue doing it. Then they'll become willing. Then once they become willing, then the information that's going in, they'll start to explore it. You know, but when it comes to people, yeah, like us, but I don't think we're any different from anybody else. There'll be that rebellion. You know what I mean? It's like I'm standing up on the outside, but I'm sitting down in my heart. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm listening on the outside, but I'm not listening inside. But with it's a, to me it's kind of like the tools get in. It's a loving program. For me, the love, the discipline. I mean, love is discipline. It's not wishy-washy love. It's not like it's like the principles. They learn the principles like greedy share, like simple things like that. If you don't like that person, don't talk to them. What is that person bringing up in you? You know, why? What is it you don't like? Have you got the same behaviour? You know, so all these little things get challenged because we say spot it, you got it. If you spot something in somebody that you don't like, it's either because you've got it or you've overcome it, or they remind you of something from the past, and it's something that you don't like. So we look at that because, like, if something's really doesn't, and then we get women where nothing affects them, and that's where they're just still in their bubble. So we have to gently work with them, and that can take time. Like we've got a lady here is in a bubble, but she's slowly coming out. She's slowly coming out. Like this morning, she was able to speak up for herself because she's just been in this bubble, and she just like bounces around. She just floats through the houses, but she's slowly coming round. She's slowly, and that's somebody that didn't think they had a voice, didn't think they had an opinion, and just was a yes person. Anything you say to her, yes, yes, yes. You know, in the group this morning, she's voiced her opinion, and the girl didn't like it, and straight away she said, "Should I go and apologise?" I said, "No, you haven't done nothing wrong. Why do you think you need to apologise for something that you've done right? You know, you can say, I'm sorry that you feel like that. However, what I said, that I believe that's to be true. You know, so we are able to separate the feelings from the facts. We're looking at how our past is in the present. A lot of the time, in the present, we're living our past. We're not present. I was in a rehab and I was in there for 10 months, right? 6 months, I woke up in the rehab. I'd been in a room morning, afternoon, and evening. And then one day I woke up and I saw a painting on the wall, and I said, "Wow, when did you get that painting?" I've been in that room doing group work morning, afternoon, and evening, every day of that time I was there. And they said to me, "That painting's been there for years." And what it was, I've just been used to the bubble that I used to protect myself. So it's kind of like being able to look and see. And to be fair, since this corona, I mean, I come, this is my workplace. I'm in, out, and doing other stuff with other people in the community that can better treasures. But since the corona, because I'm here all the time, I'm able to pick up, I'm able to discern where the women are at. So it's been a really, really good thing. So the lady's in the bubble, she's feeling safe enough now to pop her head out, you know, and we just keep encouraging her to keep talking.
How long do they typically stay with you at Treasures, and how can you sort of assess that they're ready to move on, and what happens to them when they leave you?
Right, so we've got 4 women that we're going to be moving on when these flats are built next year. So they're moving to flats. We've had women that have moved on to they've gone back to their partners or back to. We've also had women that have had properties. So if they've got a property, right, we can take women and get dual housing benefit, so they can come here for a year, and the housing benefit will pay here and they'll pay in the community. So we've had them women. we've had women, a Newham housing, what they do, when they've been here for 2 years, they can go on the housing register. At the minute, we're trying to work with Newham Council to see if we can at least get one of our women nominated after a set amount of time. So the women that are going into the flats next year, right? We're looking at maybe keeping them in the flats for a further, I don't know, 3, 4 years or whatever, and then we're still asking if Newham will take them from them flats. We're still trying to rehouse them so that they've got their own properties. We're just going to see how that works. Was that the question you asked, or did I go off?
That is, yeah. We have another question here, which concerns how do you support women to navigate in a society which is also unequal and unjust along gender and racial and class lines?
Okay, so say that last bit again.
The society at large is very unequal and unjust, and discriminates people based on gender and the race and the class and so on. How do you help these women to navigate these injustices?
Okay, so what the program that they're on, right? A lot of us are coming from injustice because that's how we felt. Everything is unjust. It's been unjustifiable. So what we do, we learn. We learn to look at how we react and respond to what we're saying injustice. Are we responding to it with arrogance, pride, self-righteousness, ego, because that's the only thing we're responsible to change, right? So how do we react to it, right? A lot of things, you know, if I don't know if that answers it. So what's all that's important here is how do you respond to whatever given situation, because a lot of the times when we respond to anything, we respond badly with ego, self-righteousness, self-centeredness, self-pity. So we look at all the defects that how we respond to what we respond, how we act out in whatever given situation, and that's the only thing we're responsible for, and that's the only thing we can change. That's the yeah, we do have a woman that from Parliament that gets input from the women, from myself and another couple of women to help to change policies and that. But even in that, we look at how do we react to it. We look at our ego, pride, self-righteousness, and other defects, our intolerance, arrogance, whatever it self-pity, self-centeredness. So we look at that. We look at trying to we try and work at looking at something. All we can change is that and influence by giving words to government around policies and that. I don't know if that helps. And what my vision is as well. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I was thinking of maybe getting a charity shop at some point so that the women can enhance their skills and later on get paid. But we're looking at part of my vision is want to get a social enterprise for these women to be able to reach sky's the limit in their gifts. Because what I do find that with a lot, women have got so many gifts that they get dampened. So they can only take it so far, then somebody else takes what they've got and takes the glory for it. So I don't like that. So I want these women to have what's deserved for them. So I'm thinking the way of that is if we're able to set up enterprises for these women to flourish. That's just a dream which can come true, as these houses were a dream and they've come true.
You talked a bit about how this Corona crisis have been, of course, both challenging but also productive. That you got new insights and so. Could you speak a little bit more about what this current Corona crisis has done to both you and to the women?
Well, what it's done is help us to connect, because it's so easy to walk around disconnected, and the disconnection, sometimes it's good to keep us safe, but there's a time to connect in order to grow. So what this coronavirus done is enabled us to connect to certain emotions, certain feelings, and certain traumas. Like I've connected to something yesterday, and I'm just so grateful. Because I probably would never have connected to it, and that's gonna, even though I feel emotional even talking about it, I know it's gonna take me to a better and stronger place as a woman. It's blooming out, this coronavirus as well. Believe it or not, I didn't even know how to eat. I didn't even know. I'm learning so much about how to eat properly, nutrition. I never knew nothing about this stuff. I just did something that looks good, tastes good. I didn't know, but my mind has opened up into, we've got my sister's a nutritionist, sending menus over to some of the girls that struggle. So we're learning how to cook healthy. I didn't know this stuff. I didn't know about carbs and the sugars. I didn't know about, and I'm not saying to go into an unhealthy way, not at all. Because I am bulimic, but it's not been active for a long time. So now I'm in a place where I'm learning to eat for the very first time. You know, it's mad. I was talking. I know it sounds a bit silly, but this is currently what's really going on. I like spaghetti bolognese, and I'm thinking, well, I can still eat it, but I don't really like mince. But I can eat the other mince that the vegan people eat. Do you know what I mean? And I can. You know, I'm learning that there's choices where I'm thinking that I've only got one choice of something, and because you know, I'm learning that that might be an unhealthy way of eating. I'm learning, but there's other stuff that I can eat, which is the same thing that is impacting me in a more healthier way. I mean, we're doing exercises again. There's girls doing yoga, we're doing workouts, we're going on jogs, we're going on long walks. You know, noticing nature, you know, connecting, because we live in a microwave lifetime at the minute. Everything's quick. Everything's get here, get there really quick. When I came out of, you know, when I got clean, that King's Cross was my stomping ground, a place where I picked up and used a lot. And to be fair, when I got clean, I didn't even notice St. Pancras. When I got clean, I looked up and I went, wow, what a beautiful building. I never noticed that because I was too busy just looking down, looking on a certain level. What this coronavirus has done is it's taken me out of the box. It's taken me out of the confined box that I've been locked in, and it's brought me out of it and seen how big and the opportunities to do much different stuff that I wouldn't have done. You know, the women are on Zoom's on all the time. We've had Zoom meeting this morning. You know, they do lots of different Zoom meetings all day. You know, women are doing like two of the women have connected in with Zoom with eating disorders, and they might not have walked into a meeting, but they've connected on Zoom. You know, we've got women doing therapy on Zoom. So when they get to see their therapist, it'll be not on Zoom, by phone. But when they get to see their therapist, they'll feel like they know their therapist, or they'll feel safe. You know.
Yes. Thank you. We have another question here about the notion of love as a discipline, and also about what you said earlier about that the institutions with the rules are easy while being in a home is difficult. So could you maybe say something more about the transition from a structured living to a less structured home?
Right. So these houses here, so the flats, when the ladies move into the flats, there won't be anybody living on the premises. They'll be in their own flat. You know, they will have they'll have a key worker, but you know, and because the key workers are in recovery, we all go to different meetings. We're all in the fellowship, to be fair. You know, so the girls will be still. They can, if they choose to, because some of the girls, like maybe one of the girls, maybe two of the girls will maybe want to take on being workers, like what we're doing. So they can come back here as volunteers. They can come back and access the morning meetings anytime they want. The independent living will be their own flat, paying their own rent, paying their own bills, buying their own cleaning and toilet material, maintaining the property, but with support. With support, they'll still get that support. I don't know if that answers that. We've got women, the ones that didn't go, obviously these flats weren't there, women that went back out into the community and struggled. Because we are who we are, right? I've had girls that have really struggled, and I said, you know what, come over and crash out on the couch. I mean, probably that wouldn't happen in a normal place, but we've done that. You know, come out if you know what I mean, if it means to stop a girl that's going to stop her from using, come over, crash out, and we'll have a chat, and you know, I'll meet up, have a coffee. Yeah. See, recovery. When you're in the recovery, when you center yourself. Recovering addicts, when you position yourself in the center of it, it becomes like a family. You're not on your own. You're not on your own. Wherever you go in the whole world, you're not on your own, because there's the meetings all over. I mean, at the minute, there's 24-hour meetings going all the time. 24 hours, meaning you can get onto it. If I wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning, there's a meeting going on in America somewhere, or in Australia somewhere, or anywhere in the whole world. There's a meeting going on, and we can tap into it and access exactly, and have the same understanding, the same connection. Is that we're all recovering addicts, and we don't have to pick up and use today.
Yes. So that is a community, and you have talked a lot about care and love already. Could you elaborate a little bit more, please, about love, then the importance of love for care and discipline and the everyday life of recovery?
Well, to be fair, I thought I was unlovable. I was born in the 60s and made my skin was the wrong colour, and it wasn't until I realised that I actually hated myself. I was racist towards myself, towards the colour of my skin, so I hated myself. When you've been sexually abused, you can blame yourself. It's my fault, and we get that a lot with the women. You know, we can get it in the way like. My mother was an addict and a self-harmer, and when I was 4 years old, I couldn't stop her from doing that. So I blame myself. I couldn't stop her, so therefore I'm no good. A lot of us have this codependency to parents that wasn't well, because we couldn't rescue or save them. We blame ourselves, so we punish ourselves. So we were learning to love ourselves and remove the punishment that doesn't belong to us, and the way like the rules, having rules is love. You know, if I didn't, you know, the women can't bring men in here. They can't bring their boyfriends. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. The only time we've allowed a man to come in here is if a man is looking after. If he's alone, if he's the sole parent responsible for the child, and the child is coming to visit their mum on the premises, and the father needs to have a look at where that kid's coming, then we allow him to come. We ask the girls in the house. They say yes, he'll come in and have a look at the premises, and then and that'll be it. Then after that, he will just drop the children at the door. That's the only time that we've done that.
And how do you learn to love yourself, and how do you learn to take care of yourself, to the self-care? How does that process work, and how can you help others with it?
Right. So how that process works is like like the women do chores, cleaning, right? A lot of girls that come in here don't know how to clean. So we, but then we'll get girls that can clean their room, but they can't clean in the community where they live. So they'll get pulled up on it. Or if they don't know how to do it, then I'll say, look, I'm going to clean the house, or one of the other girls, and they'll watch them clean the house. And then they'll become really great cleaners, and a new person will come in, and then they'll be rude to them about their cleaning. Then we have to remind them, have you forgot? That's how you was, So, and that wasn't, we didn't treat you like that. So treat them the way you was treated, and self-care, doing washing, cooking, eating, waking up, doing work, doing therapy. We call that self-love. Sitting in a community, going out and talking to each other, we call that self-care. It's very simple, but it's, if you're not used to it, quite fearful. We have women that come down in the morning meetings that, that every part of us says, don't talk, they'll think you're stupid, We take them through a program, we take them, and it's an intense program, And one of the girls said to me this morning, oh, Mandy, I feel really stupid writing this down. I said, whatever your head says stupid, I want that down there on paper, because that's what we need to be looking at. Anything your head says, don't write it, don't say it, say it. Some of the girls, one of the girls, like I said, struggles around me. So I said to her, and she said, oh, the other day her head was just thinking about me and not liking me. I said, well, when you feel like that, just text me. I said, it's not gonna ruin my day, but just get it out of your head, and then it's gone. And you send it to the right person, which is me, and that's all right. You can do that. And also what we do with them as well. Some of them are going through a bit of work around childhood stuff, and even though they love their parents and stuff like that, well, they now love their moms and stuff. The childhood stuff takes them back to being a child where they don't like them and the So one of the girls this morning, I said, right, I want you to write your mum a no send letter. That inner child needs to be angry. Tell her how you feel, and then you rip it up. That's love. That's care. Being honest and being able to express is love, is care. Because when we can't express, then we're saying to our inner child, shut up, I don't want to listen to you. And that's what we've been told all our lives. Shut up. You're not worth listening to. So here, the inner child can come out in a constructive way and express how one feels. And we call that love.
The women who come to Treasures are obviously lucky to meet you and to get this support, but that's far from everyone. So what do you think is the biggest change and structural change needed to support women coming out of prison?
Well, I think the system just needs to listen to the women and not think that they know everything. They need to listen to the need. What I don't think they understand is like I think they can just stick a plaster on and pat you on the back. Yeah, you'll be all right now, and all that rubbish. It's like understanding that that a woman don't just do destructive things to herself or to another human being unless there's something underlying. There's something going on. So it's about allowing that space and time and providing more money as well for specialised therapy. Specialised, I don't know if the system, I don't know. Yeah, otherwise it's just going to keep going round in circles as it does, round and round and round and round and round. I get so intolerant around it all. It's a really sore subject, and I just think, well, all I can do is my bit in life, and that's all I can do is my bit. But the system really don't understand. Yeah, I think yeah. I'm hoping, yeah, that the centre that they're hoping to get in Holloway will be a great place where something might happen. I'm hoping.
Yeah. How do you take care of yourself? I mean, it must. It's a very demanding work you're doing, which is obviously more than work. So much care and love. How do you take care of yourself? How do you not get a burnout?
So I'm working the same program myself. I too have a sponsor. My faith. I've got very strong faith. I'm up early. I do my prayer. I do my meditation. I do my I'm human, so there's times when I do get really tired and really this and that. So I'll have a little like spiritual checkup. What's going on? What am I doing? You know. I've got my own little program that I work. I've got meetings that I can attend. I've got women in the fellowship that I can phone up and chat to about whatever. I don't have to keep. You know what? I'm so grateful for that. I really haven't. I've got any secrets. When I say secrets, I mean secrets from my past. That I've been able to kind of like get them out. These secrets that kept me sick. I'm being able to. I've got people. I've got different people for different things that I can turn to, that I can go to. Like I've got a person that I could go and talk some really deep stuff that's coming up. But then I'll have another person that I can go and talk to. We can have a laugh about stuff. And I've got different people that I can go to. I'm currently back in therapy myself. I put myself back in therapy a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. I've also got, I have supervision. I've got supervision. One of the trustees, I've got a board of trustees that I work with. So they do what they need to do. Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the organization, Treasures? How did you found it, and what kind of support did you get from individuals, organizations, or institutions, or yeah, how did it happen?
Well, what it was, I was sharing, right? I was sharing at this meeting, not a fellowship meeting, another meeting. I was sharing, and I just I was sharing. I said, I need houses for women. And after the meeting, this man come up to me, and he says, Mandy, I've got a house. Well, I wasn't expecting that. I was asking for houses, and he come up to me. He said, Mandy, I've got a house. Well, of course, my head didn't believe him, because my head was thinking, no, you must want to sleep with me. So I ignored him. And then a year later, I was speaking in the same place, need houses. And the same man's come up to me and he says, Mandy, I've got a house. I'm happily married. I'm a successful businessman. And I've got a house that I want to give you to work with. So that was the first house. So I went and had a look at it. I didn't want it. I was afraid to take it. But people that were around me say, Mandy, go on, take his number. He's all right. He's all right. Because I didn't trust. I thought, no, he's up to something. What does he want? Because anybody that gives anything for nothing, I always used to think, what do you want? And that's another gift that I've learned, that people do actually give things for nothing and they don't want anything. But it took me a long time to get my head around that. Anyway, so I went and took that house. But I was still working in the prison. That was a 5-bedroom house in Forest Gate. So I took that house. But I didn't want to let go of the prison. I loved the prison. I was institutionalized, which I didn't really understand, but I was, even though I was working and getting paid. But anyway, so I've come out of the prison. Anyway, this man, he actually showed me another plot of land. He's got so much properties and so much, but he's a businessman, but he's also in recovery, right? Because I thought, what is this man? What is his angle? But he's also in recovery, so he's giving back. So he showed me a plot of land, and he's thinking, he said, "Man, I'm building 2 houses here." This is how he chats. He said, "Do you want them?" So obviously, I'm thinking, who do you think you are? So my arrogance, pride, self-right. So I had to work on that stuff. I think, who are you? It would come up. So I had to work on that stuff. But anyway, so I did. I said, no, they're the wrong houses. I don't want them. And I ended up back in Holloway. I've still got my job in Holloway. Anyway, I'm coming out of Holloway. This is how I got these houses. Coming out of Holloway, and I get a text saying, "Mandy, there's 3 houses, come and have a look at them." And I'm quite upset. I'm thinking, what's his problem? I had a right stinking attitude, to be fair. The man was just trying to help my vision. But I'm thinking, what's his problem? Do you know what I mean? Why don't you leave me alone? But anyway, so I ended up coming to have a look at these houses that I've got now. And I said, all right. And what it was, my problem was, I didn't want to leave Holloway. My fear was stepping into my vision that was given to me. Anyway, so I ended up taking these houses, and the man said to me, whatever Holloway's paying you, I will pay you. And that's how these houses came about. Not the system that's got nothing to do with these houses. And that's how I wanted it. I don't want the system. I never wanted the system to have anything to do with it.
So you do not get any financial or other support from the municipality or other authorities?
Not from government, no. Not from government. But like I said, we've got a lady that does the funding now, and she's been doing it for maybe a year, maybe over a year. But in the beginning, it was just these houses. It was just me, and it was just housing benefit, and that was it. I don't want government. I don't want, and what I don't want, what I absolutely refuse, is for the workers that are here to be downloaded with paperwork. That's not happening. That is not happening. I'm sorry, because if it's taken away, if the paperwork is taken away, the care of the women, forget it. I'd rather walk away, because it'd be defeating the object. I don't want that. I'd rather walk away from it. And that's the truth. The care, you know, these women are important. I mean, like, when you're coming from that, you already feel that you're a waste of space, you're a waste of this, you know. They need that time given to, or not to be on a bloody computer all the time. My job is not on a computer, you know. I'd rather somebody else do that. Don't get me wrong, I've got to do little things. The way we set up our system is very minimal, and that's how it is. We've got different managers of different things now that are thingy, and they come in with their thingy, and I just have to say, no, I'm not having it. It all sounds absolutely brilliant, but I ain't having it. We don't need government funding. We're not doing it. We're not doing that, because these women are important. If it means getting caught up in all that, I'll walk away. I'd rather not do it. It's not for show. Real people are dying. You know what I mean? Real people are losing their kids. And when you lose a kid, you're talking about generational ripple effect. Sorry. When something happens to a mum, it affects the child. And you've got this ripple effect going on and on and on. And kids not knowing why they're doing the things they do, or why they think the things they think. I'm sorry. The people are the most important. And I'm quite adamant about that.
Yes, let's talk a little bit more, if you please, about work in that sense. Now you are on lockdown in this house, but you have several other houses. How does it work for the women who are in the houses where you can't go at the moment?
I've only got these three. Gave up the other one in Forest Gate to work on these three, right? And the trustees wanted to get another one, and I said it's not happening. It's not happening until we get it right here. So now we've got a funder to fund for women, and I want to see it working here. Then we're ready. It's not about loads and loads of houses. It's about it's working and it's benefiting. And it's like me seeing fruit, me seeing evidence, me seeing change, me seeing them being empowered. And it's not about the building. So what we've got now, we've got these three houses, and we've got the 4 flats that are being built to transition the 4 of the women onto next year.
Sorry, I was maybe unclear. I meant the women who live in the houses where you are not at the moment. I suppose you can't go there and meet them physically because of the corona situation. So how does it work for these women?
We're all one project. Did I not show you? Look, it's all one house. Yeah. So it's kind of like, it's like, even though it's 3 houses, we're one. So in the mornings, we all come together in one group. Does that make more sense? There's 3 houses, but we're all together, one. Like we've all, the women barbecue, we all eat together. Every morning, all the 3 houses come together. We're all one.
Thank you. Now I understand. Yes, but it's very nice to see the tour and see the space. Thank you. We have a few more minutes left. Do we have any more questions? Would you like to add something, Mandy? This is something we haven't touched upon.
I can't think of anything. But what I do know is when you reach out and help another person, it's helping me. It's like a win-win. It's a two-way thing. As I'm helping somebody else, as I can identify with somebody else, or if somebody else rubs me up the wrong way or whatever, I can look at what is it doing in me. I'm receiving healing. And that's priceless. You can't put a pound note on that. And that's another thing. You cannot put a pound note on that. That is absolutely priceless. What you get from this is absolutely, it's phenomenal. I'll just leave that there.
Thank you so much, Mandy, for your wisdom and your courage and love and care. It has been most interesting and encouraging to listen to you. I hope that everyone who is here and listening to you now will remember to make a donation to Treasures. So Akile had put the link to that in the beginning of the chat.
Answered all the questions.
Yes, I think we have answered all the questions. Oh yeah, and here comes the link again in the chat. I think that there's a lot of food for thought for everyone here today to think about and yeah, self-introspect about what are we doing ourselves in our own lives and how we can do things differently. Thank you so much. And all the best and to you and to the women. So now Akile Sarah just posted the information about the next session, which is Erika, who is here with us already, but who
I have to leave it. Oh, I've got to do something, just so you know.
Yeah. Anyway, it's called Postcards for Prison and COVID-19 postcards also, and Erika is an artist, and she will share her work with art and the importance for art, notably in the incarceration system. So that will start at 12 o'clock UK time, and the Zoom ID and password are now in the chat group. So I hope to see you back then. Again, Mandy, thank you so much. And in the group chat also, everyone is posting their thanks to you. So you can look if you want to look back at it. And again, on behalf of AtGender and I guess also the Middlesex team, thank you so much, both to Mandy and to everyone for being here, and be safe.
Just to add, everyone, you do need to click a new link. You can't stay in this Zoom meeting because the next one will be in a different link. So make sure you click on the one that's been sent round by Sarah. Okay, thank you so much, Mandy, and thank you to everyone for your time. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, bye.